Afternoon, everybody. How are we all doing? Everybody had a good morning? Can somebody tell the euro to drop, please? It's getting a bit annoying now. Sitting up there, and it's high horse. It's thinking about it, isn't it? Thinking about it. That's all it's doing though, thinking. Another day sideways. So how's everybody's morning been? Everybody had a good morning? Afternoon, D'Armand? Too quiet? Yeah, it's a bit quiet. Not the busiest. Hi, Chris. Hi, Fanor. Sorry, you don't speak Colombian, I assume that is. Colombian? Is that Spanish in Colombia? Whatever it is, I don't speak it. Sorry, can't answer that one. Hi, Andy. David. Christian. All good, all good. I put in my request for a lower euro earlier today, but I haven't heard anything back yet. No, that's good. As long as you put the request in, I'm sure they'll get around to it. I put in requests at my leisure centre all the time to fix the spin bikes, but they never do anything about that either. But anyway. Got a sell stop on the euro. Cool. Hi, Trevor. Yeah, sell stop's not a bad idea at the moment, because when this thing comes down, I think it's just going to come down like a house of cards. You'd be lucky to get in it. If you're not using the EA, I think you'll probably miss the reversal alert. You'll probably find we get a big old candle. It might even be at the open at New York, especially on Euro US dollar, but we'll see. Dixie didn't do a lot this morning, as you can see. We're within the Asian range. We popped our toe out. We popped our head above the Asian range by about 2 pips. And then came and settled back down below the Asian range for a little bit, and then we've popped back up inside. So that ain't gone anywhere. Sobering up after a great weekend at Murrayfield. Nice. Yeah. Cricket and rugby, all about drinking. Right. So I've just been scalping this morning a little bit, not a lot. Bagged 5%, so I'm going to sit on that. Tricky old movement on the indices this morning as well. EA's closed a few bits out. I'll start off there. So H1 M5 we closed out. I think I showed you this one this morning. You're in New Zealand, didn't I? So we closed that one out this morning. H4 M15 we've got 0.7 in profit at the moment. And banked pound yen. So bank that pound yen. There's pound New Zealand's. Yeah, it hasn't banked anything for a while, is it? Got another 0.8 euro odds. Probably going to close out any second, actually. That's because I've got a manual on that, haven't I? Euro odd. I took a manual. I'll close my manual out. And I'll let those two run. There you go. Banked a bit more. Trend pullback. Not doing a lot at the minute. And banked 1% on H4 M15 cot bias, which is, what have we banked here? Where are we? 7th. Euro yen. And euro odd. Oh, that was a manual. So I just closed a manual out on that as well this morning. Because I took 2 manuals, so I'm just going to let the EA run the other 2 positions. So yeah, not too bad there. So I banked a bit of dough this morning, which is quite nice. Obviously, we've got no news this afternoon because there's no news apart from Lagarde speaking at 3:45. So we'll see if that has any impact on the euro this afternoon. But Across the board during London, we haven't had a great deal of movement. So we're kind of within the Asian range on a lot of stuff. We had that nice yen push this morning. Crikey, Aussie New Zealand's gone for it this morning. That's moved. Why has that moved? Weak New Zealand dollar by the looks of things. Yeah, weak New Zealand dollar. Yeah, so New Zealand dollar's been weak. All within the Asian range, within the Asian range, within the Asian range, all within the Asian range. All the euros are. That came back within the Asian range. The pound has come down this morning. So the pound's not had a good morning. Just got a reversal alert on a few of those, but nothing particularly interesting. So weak pound, weak New Zealand this morning. That's all we've had. Not particularly weak either. If you look at it, Asia pushed up, we've pulled back. So a lot of these we're still within the Asian range. So nada, nothing's moved. CAD, Asian range. Yeah, so it's one of those days. We're just getting back up into the Asian range on the US dollar yen. So yeah, business as usual, same as this morning basically. So the ADRs, we have had a couple of those hit. Aussie New Zealand's hit. Now this one I'm not convinced on. If we have a look at it on M5 and zoom in. So we had this big wick down at the open. Broker basically just did their usual spread widening. So for me, even that, I'm not 100% sure about. That's probably to do with liquidity. So really, I think that's probably the ADR today on this one, this wick here. So we have done 52. So we're not far off. So Aussie New Zealand is pushing, and it's pushed quite hard, but I'm not sure that is an ADR hit yet today because of the broker candles. Monday broker candles always a little bit dodgy. Euro yen, that gapped up and obviously filled the gap almost straight away. So perfect bounce. Doesn't get any more textbook than this, does it? 3-bar reversal with a hammer at ADR. Lovely. Unfortunately, though, the reversal alert was all the way up there, so you would never have really got into it. If you'd taken a price action entry down there, you could have got in. Or a retest. You had a W within a W there. You could have taken that long. But, yeah, almost impossible to get into that one, unfortunately, this morning because it had such a big, strong push with the yen down. The same with the pound yen, had a big, strong push down to ADR. Again, I'm not convinced on this one. This is more like a broker candle to me. So we gapped up, then we spread 22 pips, quarter of an ADR. We spread a quarter of an ADR basically in the first 10 minutes. So I don't think any of these really are proper ADRs today. They're more Sunday open candles really. If the Dixie breaks your trend line now, I'm a very happy man. I'm guessing that's your trend line. So yeah. So we've had an H4 reversal alert and retest, bullish engulfing. We're going up. I'm pretty sure the Dixie's going up. So I think you'll be all right there. Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on the Dixie, what's going on when the market opens. But so far today, not a lot. Not bearish though. So that's good. It's not bearish. Right, so RSIs on the 4 hour, usual suspects, pretty much the same as this morning. Nothing much has changed, obviously, there. So where we were extended, we are still extended. So Euro odd came out of extension and is coming down nicely. The Euro CAD is still coming down. Obviously, we've just had a bit of a consolidatory London session, but still coming down. Euro Swiss, Doji, consolidation. Euro pound, we wicked up, took out the highs, coming back down. That's mainly off the back of the we've had a massively weak pound, so obviously that's the move on the pound being reflected in the euro. Euro yen, just putting in a bullish move to retest. So just about to get a retest alert on H4. Euro New Zealand coming down nicely, and Euro US dollar sitting in consolidation because it's gone absolutely nowhere. So yeah, boring. Hourly's nothing. Same as this morning, isn't it? We haven't gone anywhere, so there's no point in me repeating this morning. It's exactly the same as where we were this morning. We haven't gone anywhere. So I've just been scalping this morning on the DAX, just been mucking about on the DAX really. It's been quite a nice little session on the DAX. Let's change that back to the hourlies again. So yeah, basically we had that high of the day put in, we looked at this morning, and we pulled down. I took this entry here, which is a triple bottom. Got stopped out in a couple of shorts, had a nice short there, and now it's pushing up again. So don't know yet today with the rest of this. So that's all I've done. Boring, hey? Nothing else to talk about. Anybody got anything else they want to talk about? Anybody got anything else they want to look at? Indices wise, we'll have a look at. I'm going to do some futures this afternoon. So we've had a really nice tight range so far today on the indices. So we're within, basically we're an inside bar on Friday at the moment. So the I've just taken another short on the DAX as well, because I've got my two positions on there. As I say, I'm scaling in on the DAX. If we push, I'm scaling in up to the 72 with a view to getting the drop, basically. Or it can just come down today. I don't care either way, one or the other. So yeah, really nice tight range today. So we've got the opportunity today to have a nice explosive move. So when you've got a nice tight pre-market open, as we have today, it leaves the day open for a very nice, strong trend day. When you've got a big move in one direction like we had on Friday, let me just get rid of that. So when you get a big trend move in London, the New York Open tends to be range bound, basically. So we do a rotation, and then, as in this case on Friday, we did a sell-off. When you get a nice tight London, you tend to get a nice trend during New York. So it's whether or not we're going to trend up or down today. So what I'm looking for today is potentially a down day. So I'm looking for a push and then potentially play a short at some point today. But we'll see what happens with the open. So keep our eyes peeled on that. But yeah, what's everybody's thoughts on the indices at the moment? It's very difficult to tell, isn't it? We got that lovely reaction off the 72 and off the 24 on the DAX, but we've kind of gone into a little bit of a stall pattern at the moment. So buying areas held up there, buying area held up there. So there's definitely buyers stepping in. We're out of the back of the earnings fortnight now, so it's just normal stock movement from now on. So we should see ranges starting to tighten. We've got Coca-Cola and Twitter and a few other stocks this week. So there are some big names being released. Twitter obviously is tech. Not a lot else tech-wise this week. It's mainly S&P that'll be affected this week. So, but yeah, not sure. Still not sure whether we're going to get this collapse or not. It's all gone a bit quiet. The market's I've been watching the news and monitoring the news about it, and it's all gone a bit quiet as to what's happening. But nobody's talking bullish really. They're all talking bearish. So we will see. So that's all I've got really for the moment. I'm going to flick over to Ninja for futures for the next foreseeable. I have a very big trend line drawn from the top to where price is now. Hopefully indices bullish. You're bullish, are you? Yeah, I mean, I don't use trend lines personally, but yeah, I mean, we're bearish at the moment. It's really hard to be bullish after a drop like that, I think. But we have had this massive accumulation at earnings, and this is the bit that confused most people, I think, including me. Massive earnings releases and no positive movement. We just literally accumulated down there, which to me is odd. Normally we would get bullish movement. So I guess get the feeling we had a lot of piling in of short positions, which I think will potentially carry on up here. This pullback, this is just a pullback, 61.8 retracement pullback for shorts potentially, but who knows, it could break today. If it breaks up there today, we're either consolidating or yeah, we're going to carry on. Don't know, very difficult to call at the minute, but we're in a very important point this week. See who gets to take over, so we'll see, but I don't care. Trading intraday, go up or down, I don't really mind. I'd like it to go down because obviously I'm piling into a massive position on the Nasdaq short, but hey, I'm either going to lose $5,000 or I'm going to pay off half my mortgage. Half my mortgage would be nice. I don't think I'm going to be able to hold it anyway. I should have set up a separate account because I'm running that trade at the moment in this account which I'm scalping with. So I should really have a separate account running that I'm not looking at, because if I keep looking at this and I keep taking profit off of it, because I just like to see it pop in here. So I'm kind of treating this massive short that I'm going for like I keep popping 5% in the bank and then adding it back on. So I'm not actually holding it. The idea is to hold it for the drop, but I'm finding it very difficult not to take profit, as everybody does. So I might start another account. Right, so yeah, plan for today. So indices wise, obviously S&P, we've come off the moving averages and we are kind of sitting in this little buy area here from the propulsion move. We've come off the 200 moving average, which is typically what we tend to see. Forget about COVID for the minute, but what we tend to see is pullbacks quite often to the 200 as a very, 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 very deep pullback. But typically the 100, the 50 and the 100, the 72 and the 24 are what we tend to get supporting. So if this is a 200 bounce, to say we're going from there. But today, so far today, we've accumulated. So we're ready for a move in one direction or the other. So my thoughts are at the moment bearish. So I'd kind of like to see them come and retest this high. And if we can get up to there, I'd be interested in shorts. And the same pretty much for the NAS. So looking, because we've had such a tiny little range today, potentially retests. It's difficult to know where this is going to retest actually, but I think retesting here is going to be a little tight. I think we probably want to go a little bit higher, so maybe retesting these highs which were resistive here and supportive there. I doubt we'll get anywhere near that. It has to be a hell of a ball day to get up there. So these highs initially I think is where I'll start to short from, unless we see it go out the gates. Then I might just go short straight out the gates, but we'll see. So we'll see where we go. We've got 8 minutes to the open. Anybody got anything else they want to look at? We're ahead of the game today because there's nothing else to talk about because the whole market's been flat. So anybody got any questions on the EA indicators, strategy, my new little EA for scalping I'm developing? Boris Johnson. Films. Anybody got anything they want to talk about? I'm padding. Oh yeah, thanks to whoever put in the Telegram group about fixing the scaling on high resolution. That was a really handy tip. So didn't know you could do that. You can muck about, and individually you can have individual applications using different scaling for DPI when you've got a 4K resolution. My new Surface has got 4K resolution, so it's everything's like out of whack, but kind of got that fixed. So Nasdaq's just coming off of 15 minutes. Putting in a hammer on 15 minute. So initial retest of those highs, I think, and potentially those highs. Actually, those highs really. Let me just draw that level in there. So that's where I'm interested in. Kind of zone. Can we look at gold? Clint, want to look at gold? Yeah, gold, as I said this morning, I'm more bullish than bearish, but I mean, at the moment, it's not going anywhere, is it? So I think we're probably going to want to come up and retest here. This zone here. We've got these highs, which we slammed through pretty hard. So I think we're looking to come back up here. So bullish up to there, ADR today. Then your guess is as good as mine with gold, really. It's going to be quite dependent on the US dollar, and obviously we're expecting US dollar push, so you would expect gold to drop. But I wouldn't expect gold to drop much lower than it's been. It's just holding price, gold. At the moment, it's literally just holding price. So we're in an accumulation. So it's quite easy at the moment to trade as a range bound instrument. So as soon as you get down to or below any lows, why is that going off? Oh. Sorry. As soon as you get down to kind of any recent lows or any multi-touch lows, long, when you get up to any highs, short, and assume that we're going to stay range bound. But at some point, this thing's going to go, and when it goes, it's just going to take you with it. So if you're using stops, that's fine. Temporary, short-term, long. Ricardo, do you expect anything from President Lagarde? Yeah, well, no idea. I don't really know, because what came out last week obviously had a massive knee-jerk reaction for the euro, but I don't see any reason for the euro to be going up. So if it's not, it's coming back down again. So I would expect CAD's just like spot on 200 bounce at resistance. This is just a short squeeze, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't think she's going to come out and say anything that is going to impact the market in any way, shape, or form, apart from down. But you never know. There's no real reason for the speech. It's just a parliamentary monetary affairs committee talk. So she may well get questioned on last week's announcements, the fact that they're going to bring the rates forward. But unless she says, actually, we changed our mind, we might do it in 3 months' time, then yeah, we'd probably have some massive reaction. But I don't think she's going to do anything but reconfirm what they said last week. So I doubt it. But we'll see. Right. 3 minutes to go. But yeah, so 345. Keep your eyes on your euro pairs at 345 because we may well have some movement there. So for those of you that have not been in here before, when I've been futures scalping, this is my Apex account. So I basically just trade price action, really. So just looking for price action moves to scale in on, bullish and bearish candlesticks at support and resistance, really. And obviously looking at propulsion candles, which tend to be after accumulations. So look at those to be resistive and supportive. As we can see here, a good example. And there. And there. So this is basically the bull and the bear areas where we're getting sellers starting to execute their positions and then defend their positions. So that's basically the strategy. I use Renko to show me when the market is starting to move. I should put that on 50, shouldn't I? Start with. See if we can bank something. What did I do on Friday? Can't remember. 300? Wasn't particularly good on Friday, was it? Would you put a stop loss on the euro trades for the speech? No. God, no. Well, it depends. Are you position trading, Ricardo? If you're position trading, no. If you're just trading, yeah. I always use a stop loss. But if it skyrockets up, there's a high probability it's going to be a liquidity run. So if you get a big spike on euro US dollar, likelihood is they're going to come up, take out liquidity, and then drop. So all that's going to happen is you are going to be the liquidity. That's what it does. It goes for stops. It knows where the stops are. The market knows where the stops are, and it goes and gets them. Okay, so initial start down. Are we going to go out of the gates today? What do we reckon? Nothing so far. Friday was just a nice push on Dixie. That's it, yeah. I can't remember from one day to the other what I'm doing. It's tiring me out, since I've been scalping for the last couple of weeks. It's so tiring. I remember why I stopped doing it. It is exhaustive, absolutely exhaustive. Okay, so we can see if we can retest these highs up here initially, and then push up to there. Going long one. Bit of a lacklustre start as well, isn't it? Lacklustre day and a lacklustre start to the Open. Closing that. Where are we going? Okay. What would be a good setting for the H1 RSI and enter on the 5 minutes? Michael, so I basically use the 21 on the hourly and the M5. So I use 4 hour, I use the 14 and I use the 21 on hourly and below. You just want it a little bit slower on the lower time frames, otherwise you get far too many signals. But on the higher time frames, you want it a little bit slower, just to even it up a little bit. But 21 I've found is kind of my sweet spot. Okay, buying one more. I'm just looking at this support basically here. Just retesting this area. Looking for a rejection down there. Adding one more. And look to get out of the highs basically. S&P's still struggling a little bit. Oh, it's on 60 minute. I was looking at this thinking, God, S&P's slow out the gates this morning, isn't it? Wrong time frame. Wake up. Monday. Excuses, it's Monday. So S&P's been bought out of this accumulation. Let's see if that can push up as well. Might just take one off there and leave one to run if it gets there. Michael, thanks. Do I use 70/30? Yeah, levels wise, use whatever you feel comfortable with, really. Up to you on levels. But I mean, the higher the level, the better. I mean, I obviously with the RSI dash, that's not the right MT4. Sorry, I'm just going to hit TP on this in a minute. Ugh, come on. Thinking about it. So yeah, so with the RSIs, I mean, 6832 is what a lot of people use. I find that either is a really good bounce point or it just flies through it. So it's a difficult level, high risk, but half the time it will just bounce off of it. I prefer 70/30 is when I start getting interested. 75 to 80 is when I'm all over it. Anything above there, I'm getting in strong. So 70/30 would be my preferred level. I use 68/32 because a lot of people use 68/32. But I prefer 70 and above, ideally. Okay, hit banked one. I'm just going to let this one run and see what happens at these highs. I'm just going to cover it. Or should I bank it? No, getting out of that. I'm just going to go flat up there for a minute at the highs, just in case we are just going to double top and collapse from here. Kind of want to give it a little bit of time to see what we're going to do. I still think we've got a high probability of getting up here today, but we've got a lot of selling pressure here. It's a big, long accumulation before this move. And obviously we haven't gone anywhere since we started that down leg. We've just been accumulating. So there's probably a lot of people still sitting in positions here, which may want to push down. So just a bit cautious, but it's popping now. Okay, so this is the 15-minute highs going in now. Got 3 minutes left. So that's the opening range pretty much. Nice tight opening range. Again, nice tight trading today and a nice tight opening range to break out of. So it looks like it wants to be a trend day today. Potentially. Which way though? Can we good at WTI crude? Look at it. Well, oil is obviously going up. I don't really trade oil. I used to trade it in futures, but very, very fundamentally driven, obviously, oil. We've got oil news Wednesday afternoon, 3:30. Should know that one by now. It's every week. So, yeah. Accumulation before a push, probably. Very extended on the daily, but it's a trend. It's an instrument that will trend in pushes as oil price gets to a point. It's been it's kind of overbought and oversold. It does work on overbought, oversold, but it's all to do with production and stock and demand. So it's fundamentally driven. So I don't really know much about it. I'll be looking for longs at the moment, obviously, but it's extended. Nice W. M formed, and potentially coming down, but where to? That accumulation's got support level there. Got propulsion gap out of this accumulation. That could act as support. I'd be looking for longs somewhere from 90.35 down to about 89. So about $1. Got about $1 range there, potentially, where it could pull back and bounce from. But I mean, you've got to be playing longs on it, really, at the moment, I think. Okay, 15-minute range is in. So, didn't manage to get up there on the open. So I'm going to assume that we're still going to head back up there. So going for a long. We just had a one brick pullback into support. So I'm going to assume that we're really going to go for the highs today. See if that play works out. And then get out when we get up there, if we get up there. So basically holding off these highs at the minute. Depends if we're going to get a strong trend up there or not. But if we get an opening range break, I'll probably add another one up the top. Not that we've got far to go, but 815.75. Exit if we break back down below the 48 level. S&P's lots of wicks to the upside. Looks very, very heavy. No. Getting out. It's coming back down again. So might sit in this range for a little bit. I've had this so much, haven't we? These accumulations at the open are horrible. Big wiki accumulations. So I just got somebody in the Telegram group trying to ask me a question. I just need to have a look at what he's sending me. Oh God. No idea. Right, so S&P is just coming back down to try and retest the opening range. Okay, I'm going to have another go of this bounce off of support. So this area here, as we pushed up through this propulsion move, just come back down and retested that. The buyers have stepped back in on it. If we get above the close of the previous bar, I'll add one more and assume we're going up for those highs. And we got going one more. It's 820. Add one more. S&P is trying to break out 15-minute range as well. S&P is going for the highs of the day. Just seeing where we're going after this. 45.15 is the next potential sticking point if we break. I've got to get to the highs yet, but if we break those highs, 45.15, another 10 points up. Just see if I can give it a little bit of a helping hand. Doesn't seem to want to do it on its own, does it? One minute left on this candle. See if we can just pop up and have a little retest of those highs before we finish. Be nice. Struggling up there. The highs. S&P struggling as well. There's a lot of absorption. A lot of sellers coming in and just absorbing all these buyers' orders. Just getting ready to get out of these just in case we get a collapse on the next candle. Either that or a pop. Come on. I really don't like the look of this up here. A lot of sellers. A lot of sellers. There we go. Just covering that, just covering a little bit of it, just in case it comes down. I just don't want to have 3 contracts go straight against me that quick. God, it's really, really struggling up here. Selling 1. I got a feeling this is all the sellers stepping in at the highs here. I think if we break that level, if we get to that level, I think we're going through it. So I'm just going to move my TP up on it, because if we pop that, I think we're going to go. If we pop it, we haven't even popped it. Look. Just taking out of another one there. See if this support holds. No. God, tough open. Bulls are trying very, very hard, but going flat. Don't like the look of it. It's probably going to absorb down here. And go, but I don't trust it. Don't trust it. I'd rather be flat and miss it than give away all this morning's earnings. Got 1 minute left on this candle. if we can close back above that 15-minute, I might have one more go. I'm going to wait for it to close. See if we can hold that level. S&P's doing pretty well, but still stuck at the top. It's bullish. Not that bullish. I'm going short one. I got this accumulation here. I think there's a lot of sellers in there. There's a lot of sellers there. That you saw that all being absorbed there. Basically, all the buyers were basically pushing so hard, and they just met so much selling pressure there. I think the sellers are going to take over. It just looks really, really heavy up there. It's quite a big, strong push that to be rejected. Add another one below that low. So basically, this area is just potentially starting to break back down. So sticking point is going to be there and there. Obviously a break below that low potentially will see us start the down move. I'm not getting in and out quick enough at the moment. I think it's been like this last few sessions we've had at the New York. It's kind of been like bag 100 and out, bag 100 and out, and just get this. There's so much wiki movement and no follow through on any of the moves. We've had this so much. The length of these wicks. Kind of need to be in and out really quick at the moment, I think, and just take the money and just build the bank. We just don't seem to be getting those moves. Either that or it just goes and it's you can't get on board. Too short now. So made a new low and a lower high. So look for a pullback somewhere in there. If we get it. So this is what I mean. Used to holding these positions and getting the moves, but we're not getting the moves. We're getting just wicks and pullbacks and wicks and pullbacks, and it's just very, very difficult. We kind of need to be sitting there just banking $100 and moving on to the next. we got any earnings today? What's the date? 7th. Amgen. Today, earnings-wise. So this is earnings this week. We've got Alibaba tomorrow. And Pfizer, pre-market. Peloton. Nasdaq tomorrow. CME tomorrow, Wednesday. Twilio. So there is some tech this week. Twitter. So, but nowhere near as big as obviously last week or the week before. We have got some earnings. So there is some stuff moving. Scaling out one. Oh, do you know what? I'm going flat. I don't like it. I just don't like it. It's choppy as you like. Too choppy. So Peloton at the moment on the Nasdaq. Peloton. Oh, they're gone. Oh, they've gone. They've already gone. Oh, well, there you go. So I was just going to say, Peloton are about to drop out the bottom of the Nasdaq. They have dropped out the bottom of the Nasdaq. So that's not going to affect the Nasdaq. Right, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So they've gone. Poor old Peloton. So if you bought a Peloton and you're paying your 30 quid a month subscription or whatever it is, you might want to sign up to Les Mills or a different club. Not holding that much hope from their earnings. I've got a feeling they're going to plummet again off the back of the news tomorrow. To zero. So where's that? November 21. So there we go. Lockdown. Can't go to the gym anymore. Let out. Lockdown again. Let out. Not locking you down again. Seasonal business. Well, COVID business basically. Unfortunately. For them. Selling one more. Got some good sellers stepping on board. Let's see if we can get another push down to the lows. Do you use Renko when you're scalping the DAX? No. I don't scalp. I don't use this DAX. I don't trade DAX futures. You can use it for anything. There's just two strategies really. The Renko, I don't rely on Renko for this strategy. I'm relying on price action. I'm scalping price action basically. So, higher highs, higher lows, bearish candles, bearish engulfings, bullish engulfings. Strong close candles. That's what it's just, long wicks. But Renko shows me very, very clearly areas that we are likely to find support and resistance. When they break and we get a confirmation above them, that helps me to get in and out. And what I'm looking for is a trend, basically, to ride. which is where I struggle with futures at the minute because we don't seem to be getting the trends here. So this move here, double bottom, entry, 1 bar pullback, entry, 1 bar pullback, entry, exit, high. That's what I'm looking for, but this is what we're getting at the moment. At the open, we're just getting this chop. We're not getting the out of the gate moves we typically have had in the past. But it's still price action. Yeah, I'm still using mainly the zones to find where the buyers and sellers are likely to step in. Like the reason I took that trade there was because of that rejection. But you can use Renko on obviously MT4 and MT5 as well. There's indicators to draw Renko. It's just not as good as Ninja Renko on MT4 and MT5. Just seeing if this is going to hold. This doesn't look good. Bullish now. Can't make his mind up. So we're on an inside bar. If you were with me this morning, remember I was talking about that 2 inside bar setup. Yeah. So at the moment we are setting up for a 2 inside bar. So we've got a big bear candle. We've got a bull candle that has not broken the lows and not broken the highs. That is inside bar number 1. This is inside bar number 2. If inside bar number 2 closes bearish and does not break the highs and the lows, then this is a 2 inside bar setup sell. I was trying to explain that setup this morning, which is what my EA is identifying, that setup. So it's a bearish move where the bulls have been unable to reverse it and the bears have been able to continue the move within the initial range, basically. And that's a continuation move to the downside. That is no longer an inside to inside bar because it's now invalidated the setup because it's broken the low. Buyers have now stepped in, so that's now invalid. If that hadn't have broken that low there and it closed like that, that is a perfect 2 inside bar sell signal. Testing some Renko indicators in MT4 was playing with candle size. Yeah, a candle and brick size basically. You know, Renko is very, very simple. It's the number of points moved, ticks moved, pips moved in MT4, MT5. And all it is it's just smoothing out. So 50 is smoother than 25, etc., etc. Selling one more. Still got 3 minutes to close on this candle. It's nice and bearish. S&P's coming down nice and hard as well. So we literally couldn't hold that 15-minute high. You saw that. You see what I meant about the absorption there, yeah? We saw that happening, didn't we? That absorption from there to there. This candle for about 3 or 4 minutes was literally just going up and down, up and down, up and down. So all the buyers that came in here, their sellers were just sitting there going, yeah, I'll have that, I'll have that, I'll have that, I'll have that, I'll have that. And then they took it back down again. Massive absorption of the buyers, which obviously means the sellers are way more powerful. Sellers step in. We get lower high, lower low. Just all starts to come down, which is why I exited those longs, because just too much selling pressure. But you can't see that on Renko. Yeah. Renko, you don't see absorption at all. That's why candlesticks and Renkos work so well together, because candlesticks show you the wicks, which show you selling, like sellers, 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 bearish engulfing in. Renko shows you very clearly the levels at which things are likely to happen. Support resistance. So if we are going to make a move down, where are we likely to find orders to absorb? Here at the lows. Because that's the last place we found them. So likelihood is that's where we're going to find them again. If it gets there. It's just a combination. But this is very, very, very difficult to do on Forex pairs, which is why I only scalp indices, because you need that volume at the open. So Frankfurt open 8 o'clock in the morning UK, you get massive movement and it goes and it starts and it will trend. Yeah, New York open for the Nasdaq, the Dow, and the S&P, because you get that volume and the price action makes total sense. On Forex, because it's 24/7, 5 days, 24/5, you've got so much opportunity for price action to happen, and it's obviously fundamentally news driven and it's manipulated massively. Price action is much less effective, and it's much more reliable on indices, which is why they're easier to scalp, in my opinion anyway. Getting out of those two, I just want to build a little bit of a bank, because this is I'm going to see if we can get a wick test up here, see if we can get some rejection there. Might sell another one up there. It's just very slow at the minute. I'm not want to be in and out a bit quicker. So on Renko, yeah, when we get a pullback, you will see a 1 bar up, followed by another bar down, and then another bar down. So that's what we call what I call a 1 bar pullback. Yeah, so if we're going to continue this move down, we will probably want a little rest. So we're going to have to trade up to find more sellers. And that's what that 1 bar move is. And on the 25, you tend to find it somewhere between 2 to 4 bars. It just so happens that at the moment it's 1 bars as well. So there you go. There's a 2 bar. Yeah, so that's a sell now. So 2 bar pullback and continuation short when you break that level. Assuming we're coming down here, obviously. Plus you have no commissions on the indices. Yeah, commissions are very, very small. If you do have commissions, they're tiny compared to FX. So the conditions for scalping on indices are just better all round. Tighter spreads as well. Look at the DAX. DAX I get 0.4. 0.4, 0.6 a lot of the time on the DAX when I'm scalping it. So look at that. You can't even see the spread there, look. Just about see that spread. So tight. You look at S&P, it's wider. Stick it on something like pound CAD, you can't scalp that. You cannot scalp that spread. Gold, yeah. Even the Nasdaq, yeah. Nas is all right at the open, but and the S&P, even the S&P is quite hard, which is why I like the DAX, because it's so tight. It's the best thing to scalp, the DAX. Indices wise, CFDs anyway. Futures, obviously. Futures, you don't have any, so don't have a spread. Well, you always have a spread. You always have a one tick spread. That's it. But that's it. One tick, 1 point spread. Okay, so looking for a close down. There you go. So we just got the 2 brick pullback. So I need another tick down to confirm it. Okay, so we've got a gap formed there. Just closing that. Double bottom potentially there. Wait for it to get back up there. And sell back out of there if we get there. Same as on the S&P. So that 15-minute accumulation before the move. If that accumulation of sellers is going to hold, they're going to step in here and add to their positions to push back down. So again, another reason Renko is useful. When we get here, as soon as we get a brick tick down, that shows you sellers starting to step in. So you can use Renko as kind of an early warning system that we've got some sellers here. And obviously that will be equivalent to kind of this level of wick. Something like that. And you'll see it tick down. We better see actually when it... so yeah, it's roughly that much wick. There you go. So there. So it just shows you the sellers are starting to step in. We haven't actually got there yet. But when we get there, that's what we're looking for. Ideally, you want to obviously wait until candle close. Any price action, you want to wait until candle close. Because obviously, seconds before this candle closes, it could end like that. As a massive hammer. Shooting star. But Renko is just gives you that little bit more of an aggressive entry, but obviously much higher risk. Bruno, appreciate the live. I believe I can learn a lot from you. Hopefully. That's what I do it for. Go and watch the videos on YouTube as well. Obviously, there's a lot of information on there about FX trading mainly. The stuff that we skipped over this morning because the FX market hasn't moved. So that's why I've started scalping. I used to scalp years ago, and I used to scalp futures. I used to scalp stocks as well. But I got out of scalping because it's high intensity, really hard mentally, and obviously higher risk, much higher risk, but much higher reward potentially as well. And obviously position trade now on FX. But the problem is we have lots of times where there's days where there's nothing much happening in the FX market. So that's why I kind of thought I'll pick up scalping again in January. And it gives us something else to do, doesn't it? While we're waiting for the FX market to move. Okay, so we're ticking down out of that potential sell area there. So we'll see if we get some continuation. But we haven't had it move down yet. It's thinking about it. S&P is flying back up again. Very bullish, the S&P on the hourly. So horrible. See what I mean about this getting out fast at the moment, because these just huge wiki movement, like complete reversal of that entire move is going in now in the S&P. It's just, we're just seeing just pure accumulation at the open instead of the runs we typically get. Okay, so we have rejected there. So we've double bottomed. We have put in a new high. So I want to see some confirmation really. At the moment, potentially we are just stepping back on an upward move. Obviously the S&P is pushing, so don't really want to get in short. Don't really want to get in long at the moment either. Again, I don't take trades a lot. Yeah, when we're sitting in the middle, unless I've got conviction for any reason that we really are looking to short today. I want to see some kind of price action to show me which way they're potentially going in the next 10 minutes. US dollar Swiss is coming down. US dollar yen is coming down as well. Gold is pushing as well a little bit last 15 minutes. So it looks like we're having a little bit of weakness in the US dollar. So US dollar's opened weak, but potentially we're just contracting ahead of a break to the upside. No directional bias yet there. It's the same as we've had all morning, isn't it? It's just the market's just not interested today, is it? No news. Accumulation, might do. Accumulation. It's just nothing happening today, is there? It's what happens when there's no news. It's a no news week. It's just like there's nothing to move the market. Unless they're going to manipulate a currency, there's literally no reason for anything to go anywhere at the moment. It's just watching paint dry. I have to try and squeeze some money out of something. Okay, S&P is just breaking back, trying to break back above the 15-minute high, back up into the high of the range. Daily, we're just still tiny little candles. These we're going back to the sort of size of candles before the Santa rally. Normal daily ranges. Yeah, that's a big day. Another big day. But this is the norm. This is what we're used to trading this. We've been very lucky over the Christmas period to have massive volatility. but this is kind of a normal range day. My God. Going short one. Still got another minute left on this candle. Oh no, we haven't. There we go. Candle's closed. We've just broken down back below that support. Let's see if we get some selling pressure. Nice big wick. Sellers starting to step in here. We haven't managed to break back above those highs and hold them. Selling one more. Go too short and see if we can get back down to the bottom of this range at the double bottom. Get out one down there. S&P's just double bottomed. It's not working, is it? Oh my God, this is the slowest thing I've ever seen in my life. Wow. S&P's breaking higher and closing. S&P looks like it wants to push higher, probably drag the NAS with it, so I'm just going to quit that before it pops. There it goes. Okay, so we just retested resistance on the S&P. Okay, buying one. S&P's broken new highs. Potentially, we're going for this area here. Potentially all the way up there, but Adding one more. So it's 45.14 to 45.21. It's potentially where we got sellers sitting. And the NAS is 14.886, this big area. We haven't tested this area at all yet. So that's the highest we've been since we pushed back down into here. So we haven't got anywhere near this yet. If we can get there. So I'm looking for S&P to hold that level. It's not very straight, is it? Okay. Okay, US dollar. It's contracting nicely. Still. Nice bullish engulfing going in on the 15-minute at the minute. 7 minutes left on that candle though. What's the euro up to? Euro's still coming down against the CAD. And the Swiss. Nowhere against the pound. God, look at this market. It's just dead. Euro New Zealand, dead. Euro yen, dead. Euro US dollar, bit of a pulse. Pound's still coming down hard. Across the board, pound's really weak at the minute. New Zealand is still weak. We've got a fairly weak yen as well by the looks of things. Shocking. It's like the world's asleep. Can we use the new scalper EA on Forex pairs as well on 1 minute or 5 minute? Right. Yeah, you can. I wouldn't. I mean, it's hard. Forex pairs. So we just watch this because this is. I've never seen anything so slow in my life. It's just not moving, is it? I just don't want to get caught out on a massive bear candle. I'm just watching the S&P. Total indecision. 2 minutes left. We'll have a look at M1 and M5 in a minute on FX pairs. I'll show you just why it's hard, basically. It's coming down. I'm just going to give it down to support, basically, and just see if we get a support bounce, which is where I'm looking at on the S&P for this gap to get filled, which hasn't even formed yet. Oh my God. Got 1 minute till the candle close. It's closed. Support's holding at the moment. I'm not going to give it much more leeway than that low that we've just put in. Again, looking for a... no, it's not a 2 inside bar setup because it made a new high. Nah, let's tick down. Oh, out. Whoa. I just hit buy twice instead of sell twice. Oh, what an idiot. So can we just tick up one, please, so I can just get out of these positions? There's a schoolboy error. Closing 2. Out flat. No, dead. It's not. I can't trade this today. It's just chop. So yeah, basically, if you try and trade, right. So you see how tight my spread is here. I haven't got any basically on DAX, which is perfect scalping conditions on M5 or on the 1 minute chart. I mean, look at the spread. It's nothing on the 1 minute chart. If you look at pound CAD, look at the size of that spread. So if you try and trade that, you're going to get in. If you hit the buy button now, you're going to get in there. So instantly, you're that far behind your scalp. Yeah. Plus the commission is way higher on FX pairs than it is on indices. And the vast majority of them have very, very variable spreads. You see the spread changing regularly. See how much it's widening and thinning. And because of the liquidity, you get slippage a lot. So I'm not going to try and trade this because it's going to cost me a fortune to trade FX with massive lot sizing. But yeah, it's a lot more difficult. So you really have to pick, like pound US dollar, you probably could just about scalp pound US dollar. But look at what happens to the spreads. Look. Euro US dollar, that's the most liquid pair with the very tightest spread. So Euro US dollar at a push you could scalp. Yens, no. Pound US, possibly. Anything with the New Zealand dollar in, forget it. That's your spread on the New Zealand dollar. Yeah, not trading that. So yeah, it's just hard. Much harder. And then you look at the DAX. I haven't got any spread. So, if I get in there, I'm going to get filled virtually there. I'm going to get filled almost exactly where I want to get in. So any tiny slight movement above and I'm out. But with the S&P, it's not too bad. Mind you, this is because New York's open. If you try and trade the S&P in London, you'll find that will be much wider, much more difficult to get in. But yeah, this is impossible to trade today. It's just range bound. So you've really got to. It's kind of what they call a limit market. You want to be placing limit orders at the highs and the lows, and catching a falling knife, and trying to pop a balloon, basically. Because all it's going to do, you want to get in at the very best possible price and assume that you're going to be right, and we're range bound. Trying to get in on price action is just whippy. By the time you've scaled into a position, it's just whip you back out again, as you just saw. It's just not very nice conditions today. Oh. DAX looks like a fairly nice point to buy. It's bouncing back around in the 2050 zone. Good support resistance. But yeah, I mean, the key to scalping obviously is tight spreads. She's got grabbed into that long there. See if we have a bit more luck on the DAX. I don't normally trade 1 minute, by the way. I'm only on 1 minute to show you what it's like on 1 minute with the spreads. I trade 5 minute normally. So to me, this is actually a bearish move that's going on at the moment. I don't even know why I'm buying it. I just saw some price action and down at the moving average and forgot I was on the 1 minute chart. Pop. But yeah, so you can trade it. Obviously, is the answer to your question, Rahat. But just be prepared for craziness on the spread. And also, if you're trying to scalp in around news, slippage is ridiculous. The spread gets far too wide to trade, and the slippage is unbelievable. You can literally get stopped out. You can get slipped and stopped out in seconds. It's just not worth it, in my opinion, but have a go. And don't do it in demo either, because demo conditions, you'll get filled at exactly where you want to. In real life conditions, you will not get filled at where you want to get filled. So you need to just use small, going with small lot sizing. And just take some trades to see where you get filled. in the real world. Again, I'm selling in a bull market. Ignore me today. That was only 0.25%. Not. So we've literally gone nowhere from opening range. I think I'm probably just going to leave this today. There's no point in pushing this today. I don't think we're going to get anywhere. And if we are going to get anywhere, it's probably going to be sometime in the next sort of 20 to 30 minutes. We'll start to get some movement outside of the opening range. And in which case then, as you can see, it's a 50-50 coin flip as to where we're going. We didn't manage to test any levels of interest to the highs, and we haven't tested any areas of interest to the lows yet. So you can kind of flip a coin from here. If we are going to get a move today, it could be either way. So I would look for a break of the highs or the lows, and then assume that that is where we're going to be heading to test an area. But look at how far you've got to go. By the time you've got in, we'll probably be testing the area, in which case then potentially we are going to react off of it. So it's just a tough range to trade today. You're better off not getting chopped to pieces, really. So that's really all I've got today. I'm not going to do any more scalping today because this market's killing me. It's too slow. There's not really anything to trade that is moving, as you just saw from FX pairs as well. So US dollar is looking like it potentially might want to go up to the London highs at some point in the next couple of hours. Nothing else is moving. This market is just stale today. So if you're trying to trade it on low time frames, you're probably going to get chopped to bits. And any longer term positions are probably not actually going anywhere. Let's just see if we've closed anything else out with the EA. Oh yeah, we have. So this is H4M15 COT Euro odd. The EA is just closed out those two. So I'm out of that one. So that's reduced the exposure on the euro a little bit more. We've got quite a lot of profit we can take off the table there, but I've banked 1.34 today, so I'm just going to let that run. Trend pullback's done nothing. We've got 0.5% still running on H4M15. That was that manual close I did. Euro odd is also closed on H1M5. Okay. So bank something today anyway. All going well. Hardly any drawdown on anything. Mind you, nothing's moving, so I wouldn't expect to. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do today. I can't really scalp this today. It's just slow and tedious, and it's the sorts of conditions where you're just going to find yourself in and out, in and out, in and out, up, down, and you will be chopping, like you just saw, chopping away to try and get $100 or $200 in the bank, and then getting slammed on this sort of whipsawing action and giving it all back. So I don't want to get to the point where you get to cross with the market and you just like revenge trade it, which is pointless. So I'd rather just take what I've got today. Got $300 odd in the bank, 230 $40 odd in the bank at the moment, so I'm just going to keep that. My long-term positions on, obviously, NASDAQ are not going anywhere at the moment because it isn't moving. So I've still got shorts building on that. I'm in one. I've just taken a second one. I've got my sell limits set, ready to get into additional positions up to the highs there. So I think I worked it out roughly. That is about 2.5k. No, was that the 2.5k level? I can't remember. I'll probably work it out actually. So it's 1500. Yeah, so that was 2.5k on the initial positions I had. So that's kind of my cutoff. That's all I'm willing to give it. Which on the daily, can't really see it on this one. Yeah, so on the daily, that will be a break of the 72. So if we're going to continue to grind, the 72 is going to start to flatten out. So we'll see the 72 meet up around there. So I'm giving it basically the opportunity to do a 72 bounce on the NASDAQ. And if it gets up to there and bounces, I think that'll be it. We'll be down. But it might just go from here, like I said, the 24 bounce that we've just had. That could be all we want to do. So I'm going to leave those running. And we'll see if the gamble plays off. Should be very nice. Okay, so that's all I've got today. Anybody needs anything, come in the Telegram group. I'm in there. If you need help with the indicators, the EA or anything, I should be around. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 8:30. And we'll obviously have a look at if anything's actually bothered to move today, which at the moment it seems like it's not happening. So we'll see. But hopefully we get some movement this afternoon. Lagarde's talking. Let's just see if anything's happening on the euros. So she started talking a quarter of an hour ago. Yeah, no, nothing. So there's nothing off Lagarde either. If the market was waiting for that, which I doubt, nothing's happened. So, yeah. If I was you, I'd go to the pub. There's nothing else to do. You can't trade this. It's awful. Right. Have a good afternoon, everybody. Good luck making money. Hopefully we'll have a bit more of a busy day tomorrow. News-wise, there is nothing at least there is. We've got Orr speaking tomorrow morning. Again, orange news for New Zealand, not likely to do an awful lot, and there's no news again tomorrow. So again, potentially a flat, hideous day tomorrow. Wednesday's when things start to kick off with crude and a few other bits and pieces, and then obviously CPI on Thursday. So yeah, going to be one of those weeks, I feel, where we're sitting there trying to extract money from a market going sideways. So. All right, so have a good afternoon. If you need anything, come in the Telegram group. If you like the stream, give us a thumbs up. And I will be back tomorrow morning at 8:30, same time. And we'll have a look at where we've got to so far. All right, have a good afternoon.